Ready to explore some seriously mind-bending ideas?
Always up for that.
Today we're diving deep into a book called Voyagers. And let me tell you, this isn't your average UFO book.
Not even close.
We're going way beyond blurry photos and, those typical government conspiracies.
Right.
This book explores the possibility of extraterrestrials and even beings from other dimensions interacting with humans.
And not just recently. Throughout history.
Exactly. We're talking about ancient myths, modern science, even like personal experiences that might just, kind of shake up everything you thought you knew.
It's a wild ride, for sure.
So, ready to unpack some of the book's core arguments, see what evidence it throws out there.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Awesome. Let's start with those ancient myths, the stories that you find across so many cultures about gods and demons visiting Earth. What if those weren't just stories?
Yeah, you see that a lot, right? Every culture has these stories.
Right. Like, what if they were actual accounts of encounters with beings from other dimensions? Or even, get this, parallel universes?
It's definitely a mind-bending thought. But, quantum physics.
Yeah.
It actually does open up the possibility for those kinds of realms existing.
So maybe those ancient cultures were tapping into something we're only just now starting to understand.
It's possible.
It's wild. Okay, but hold on, because it gets even, more interesting.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The book challenges that, classic theory about how humans evolved, the whole, primates to humans, the thing we all learned in school.
Oh, you mean Darwin?
Yeah, exactly. But Voyagers, it suggests something completely different. Like, what if Homo sapiens, us, didn't actually evolve from those early hominids here on Earth? What if we were, seeded here?
Seeded, like planted.
Exactly. It proposes that, like, an extraterrestrial Homo sapien, like a version from somewhere else, might have actually been, like, the real beginning of humanity.
Interesting.
And all those similarities between us and primates, well, maybe that's because of, like, crossbreeding with those earlier extraterrestrials.
Okay, now I see where you're going with this.
I know, right? It's a lot. Now, I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, where's the proof? The fossils, the artifacts.
Yeah, gotta have evidence.
I know, right? And the book even acknowledges that there's not a lot of physical evidence to back it up.
So how does it explain that?
Well, it offers up a few possibilities. One is just, natural destruction over millions of years.
That makes sense.
Another is, get this, intentional concealment. Like someone or something is hiding the evidence.
Intriguing.
But then there's this truly mind-blowing idea they call particle transition. Like, imagine the evidence transition to another dimension, poof, gone.
Whoa, that is mind-blowing.
Right, like a cosmic disappearing act. But let's switch gears a bit and talk about someone who claims to actually have contact with these extraterrestrials. Ashayana Deane. The book talks about her a lot.
Oh yeah, I've heard of her. She's the one who claims to communicate with, what was it?
The Guardian Alliance, the GA.
Right, the GA.
And this isn't just, seeing a UFO or having a close encounter. She claims it's direct, ongoing communication. Like, they're in touch.
And this started when?
When she was a child.
Yeah.
And it's, continued her whole life, according to the book. And get this, the GA, they're supposed to be this, benevolent force, like cosmic mentors, helping us humans evolve, deal with challenges.
Cosmic guidance counselors.
Exactly. But the way they communicate is, pretty unique. It's called chelantic communication.
Chelantic communication. I've never heard of that.
It's like, psychic email is how they describe it. Information just beams from their minds to hers.
So it's not like the typical channeling you hear about.
No, this is more direct, less, open to interpretation, let's say.
Gotcha. So less fuzzy, more direct line.
Right. Okay, so Ashayana Deane and the GA, they're a big part of the whole Voyagers story. But the book also tries to explain, decode some of those UFO mysteries we hear about all the time. The solid, spaceship-looking ones.
Oh, yeah, the classic UFO sightings.
The ones that make people wonder if they imagine the whole thing. But Voyagers has a different take. It suggests some of these UFOs might not be spaceships in the way we think of them.
Oh, what else could they be?
Get this. What if they're objects from other dimensions, briefly popping into ours? Imagine, a house from another dimension suddenly appearing here. It looks super weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Distorted, maybe unrecognizable.
Like looking through a funhouse mirror.
Yeah, exactly. It's a wild thought, but it makes you wonder.
It does. So basically, we might be misinterpreting what we see.
Exactly. And Voyagers really pushes this idea of questioning the official narrative about UFOs, like what the government tells us.
Don't just take their word for it.
Right. Do your own research, think critically. because they might be keeping us in the dark about what's really going on. Who knows what they're hiding? And speaking of things we can't ignore, we have to talk about the Greys.
Oh, here we go. The Zeta Reticuli.
The big eyes, small bodies, the whole 9 yards. They've become the, poster children for alien encounters.
It's true. You say alien, and most people picture a gray.
Right. But Voyagers paints a more, complicated picture.
Meaning?
Well, it says there's not just one kind of Zeta. Some are the benevolent ones, the helpers.
Okay, good grays.
Exactly. But then there are others, they've got a different agenda.
Uh-oh. Bad grays.
The book connects them with those alien abduction stories, genetic experiments, that whole, creepy side of things.
So why are they doing this? What do they want?
Well, Voyagers suggests the Zeta are facing, an existential crisis. They're dying out.
Oh, wow.
And they see human DNA as a way to create a hybrid species to survive.
That's pretty desperate.
Right. It's a lot to wrap your head around, especially the ethical side of things.
Right. Talk about a moral dilemma.
The book talks about this idea of, soul agreements.
Soul agreements.
Maybe people agree on some level, before they're born to participate in these experiments.
Huh. So maybe it's not as simple as us versus them.
Exactly. And the book doesn't stop there. It introduces another group, the Ranthia, even more advanced than the Zeta.
Okay, now we're talking cosmic hierarchy. Who are these guys?
Hold on tight. They're supposed to be masters of the time portal system. They can, manipulate time and space.
Time travel. Is that what you're saying?
It gets wilder. They're the ones responsible for those crop circles, the intricate ones.
Wait, are you saying crop circles are like messages from these Ranthia?
Yeah. Like cosmic graffiti. Or maybe, tools to mess with energy.
Okay, now my head is spinning. So we've got benevolent aliens, the not-so-benevolent ones, time travelers, and messages in cornfields.
Exactly. And the book ties it all together, makes you think, well, maybe there's more to reality than we realize.
Lot more.
And that brings us to this idea of Kilanta. Not just a language, but a multidimensional language.
Multidimensional, what does that even mean?
Well, it's not just speaking or writing. It's about communication, healing, even constructing reality itself.
Whoa, hold on. Constructing reality.
Right. Think of it like a universal code, a way to tap into, the very fabric of existence.
So if you learn Kilanta, you can, reshape reality.
That's what the book suggests. It could be humanity's key to, break free from manipulation, become more powerful.
But that's a lot of responsibility, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a dark side, too. The book talks about this interior government, a hidden elite pulling the strings.
Conspiracy theories. Here we go.
I know. But it gets wild. They're supposedly working with those less benevolent Zeta, controlling information, manipulating us.
For what purpose? What's the end game?
They want to keep us in the dark, disempowered.
Oh.
And they use some seriously advanced tech to do it, like holographic inserts.
Like they're projecting images into our world.
Exactly. Remember those stories of people seeing religious figures or aliens? What if those were just holograms designed to mess with us?
That's kind of terrifying.
It is. But the book doesn't leave us there. It talks about this thing called HSP, higher sensory perception. It's our natural ability to see beyond the illusions, connect with our intuition.
Like a built-in BS detector.
Exactly. And guess what? The more we develop our HSP, the harder it is to manipulate us.
Makes sense. But how do we do that?
That's what we'll explore next. So before we went to that little break there, we were talking about this choice point facing humanity.
Right.
That split between a super advanced but control society or a free one where we can actually embrace our spiritual potential. And Voyagers really stresses this connection with our soul matrix to, make the right choice. But what is that, the soul matrix, and how do we even tap into it?
Well, the book describes the soul matrix as this multi-dimensional structure. It holds the blueprint for, all of our spiritual evolution. Think of it like this massive web of energy and information connecting every being. It's where our true potential comes from, the key to unlocking those higher levels of consciousness.
So it's not just this, mystical, far-out thing floating around somewhere. We're actually connected to it.
That's exactly what Voyagers suggest. And this connection, it's not something strange or new. It's part of who we are, our heritage. But we've been, trained to ignore it, maybe even fear it.
Because it would make us too powerful, harder to control.
Is that what the interior government, those folks we talked about, are so afraid of?
That's the argument the book makes. The forces that want to manipulate us, keep us in the dark, they need us disconnected from the soul matrix. Because if we connect, We'd see through their illusions, break free.
And that's where, I guess, HSP comes in, higher sensory perception. It's all about using that connection to the soul matrix, that intuition, that awareness.
Right. HSP isn't about, like, superpowers or anything. It's about getting back that natural ability to sense beyond what our five senses tell us. It's about trusting our gut, that inner voice, understanding how everything's, well, connected. Yeah. It makes sense, right? If we're always focused on what's outside, what we can see and hear and touch, no wonder we lose touch with that inner knowing. But, like, how do we actually develop HSP? Is it meditation? Mindfulness? Something else entirely?
Well, the book throws out a few ideas, different techniques, but the main point is it's about quieting the mind, becoming aware of our energy, noticing those subtle things that our five senses might miss. We got to shift the focus, from the head to the heart.
So a journey of self-discovery, like peeling back all those layers to find our true selves.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not a journey we have to take alone. The book encourages us to find others who are on the same path, build a community, support each other. We can evolve together.
And that's where that idea of us being guardians comes in. Voyagers suggest we're not just along for the ride in this whole cosmic drama. We've got to protect, each other, the planet.
Absolutely. It's a call to step up, remember our connection to the earth and to each other. We got to work together to create a future that's, in harmony, sustainable.
It's a big task, especially with all this, stuff we're facing now, climate change, social unrest, the economy. It can feel, overwhelming. Where do we even start to make a difference?
That's where Voyager says the real change happens within. It's about transforming ourselves, healing, becoming more loving, compassionate. The idea is, as we each evolve individually, that ripples out, creates positive change in the world.
Like that butterfly effect, right? Small actions, big impact. But the book doesn't just stop at personal transformation. It goes deep into, reality itself, like how we understand time and space.
Right. It introduces the time matrix. It's like this super complex web of timelines, different realities, all connected. Time isn't linear like we think it is. It's more like a tapestry, a multi-dimensional one, where the past, present, and future are all influencing each other.
Whoa, okay, now you're really making my head spin. Time travel. Parallel universes, is that what we're talking about?
Voyagers gets into those ideas. But the takeaway is, reality is way more fluid and changeable than we realize. Our thoughts, what we believe, the choices we make, they actually shape reality itself.
So we're not just along for the ride, we're actually creating the ride as we go. Yeah. If that's true, how do we make sense of this whole web of timelines, dimensions?
The book suggests we need to develop multidimensional awareness. We got to think beyond the linear, the straight line, and start to see how everything is connected.
So it's like an awakening, remembering who we really are, realizing just how much potential we have.
Exactly. And this awakening, it's happening all over the world. More and more people are questioning what they're told, looking for different perspectives, tapping into their, spiritual side.
Like a global shift in consciousness, a movement towards, a more enlightened and empowered humanity.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. But Voyagers also has this warning. It says, don't be complacent, don't blindly follow, and don't let fear control you.
So think for ourselves, question everything, and trust our gut.
Exactly. And that's where that whole interior government thing comes back. They use fear, manipulation to control information, to keep us feeling powerless.
It's all about maintaining control, right?
Yeah.
Keeping us trapped in this limited reality, keeping us afraid.
Exactly. They use all those advanced technologies, those holograms we talked about, to make us see what they want us to see, to steer us away from our true potential.
Yeah.
Remember that creepy example about faking the second coming?
Yeah, that was pretty chilling.
It just shows that we have to stay aware, question everything, trust our intuition.
Voyager says we can resist. We can develop HSP, reconnect with the soul matrix, and choose to align with, the good stuff. Love and light.
It's a call to action, an invitation to join this movement toward a more conscious and compassionate world.
Not waiting around for someone to save us, but taking action to shape the future.
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, a really crucial part of the Voyager story. The book talks about this event called the Electric Wars. It happened millions of years ago, but it had a huge impact on human evolution. And it's still shaping our reality today.
Electric Wars. That sounds like something straight out of, Star Wars. What happened, and how does it connect to us now?
Well, Voyagers gets into the specifics, but basically these electric wars were conflicts between super advanced civilizations. They were fighting millions of years ago using incredibly powerful technologies that disrupted Earth's energy grids and really messed up the planet.
So, like ancient warfare, but on a cosmic scale. Our ancestors probably had no idea what was happening.
It probably was beyond their comprehension. And the book says these wars had a devastating impact on human consciousness. It fragmented our DNA, separated us from our soul matrix.
So we're still dealing with the trauma from these ancient wars. That's a heavy thought.
It is heavy. But Voyagers also offers hope. It says we have the power to heal from this trauma, to reclaim our full potential and reunite with the soul matrix.
And this is where Kilanta comes back in, right? It's not just a language. It's also a tool for healing and restoring our energetic blueprint.
Exactly. Voyagers presents Kilanta as a way to activate our dormant DNA strands, repair the damage from those wars, and, reclaim our full potential as these multidimensional beings that we are.
It's like a cosmic reboot. Rewriting our genetic code and evolving to a new level of consciousness. That's pretty amazing.
It really is. And the book says this healing, this awakening, it's happening right now. People are remembering who they are, activating hidden abilities, and contributing to that collective shift we talked about earlier.
It's exciting, but also a bit daunting, right? Like, what can we actually do to help this shift happen? To choose that free, empowered path for humanity?
Voyagers has some suggestions, some practical advice. But the main message is take responsibility for your own evolution, cultivate HSP, and work together. It's about remembering who we really are, embracing our interconnectedness, and choosing love and light.
So it's not about waiting for a miracle. It's about taking action, making conscious choices.
Exactly. And I think that's the perfect way to move into the final part of our Voyagers deep dive. We'll look at some specific techniques for developing HSP, connecting with the soul matrix, and, building the future we want to see.
Stay with us. We've got so much more to explore. Okay, so we've really gone deep into Voyagers. This book, it just explodes everything we think we know about, everything. Our history, reality, even what we're capable of. We've talked about manipulative aliens, shadow governments, all that. And, this idea of HSP, higher sensory perception, being the key to breaking free. But how do we actually, do that, develop HSP, tap into that soul matrix?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. A lot of people finish Voyagers feeling, a bit overwhelmed. The book gives some hints, but it doesn't exactly, lay out a step-by-step plan.
Right, it's not like a manual or something.
Exactly. But one thing it keeps coming back to is the power of intention. Really deciding, okay, I want to awaken my HSP, connect with that soul matrix, become aware of all those subtle energies, the information that's always there.
So it's not going to just happen on its own.
It's a choice we have to make.
Yeah.
And that choice, that intention, it's powerful. It's like sending out a signal to the universe saying, hey, I'm ready. I want to evolve to see more, to be more.
Okay, I'm sending that signal right now. But how do we turn that intention into something real, something we can actually do?
Voyagers mentions a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Meditation, working with energy, even using Kilanta.
Oh yeah, Kilanta. It's not just a way to chat, right?
It's a tool you can manipulate energy, even influence, reality itself.
Wait, seriously. So learning Kilanta, it's like becoming, a reality programmer.
The book suggests it's possible. It presents Kilanta as this, universal code, the building blocks of creation.
Right.
And if you know the code, you can potentially change things, heal, expand your consciousness, even affect what happens.
It's a lot to take in. Maybe we can start with something a little more, down to earth. What about meditation?
Meditation. It's all about getting quiet, tuning into those subtle energies, the stuff that's happening both inside and around us. It's shifting our focus from the outer world to the inner world.
Like turning down the volume on all the chaos so we can hear that inner voice, the intuition.
Exactly. And Voyager says there are tons of ways to meditate. The important thing is finding what works for you, what feels right, and doing it consistently.
It's like exercise, right? Got to make it a habit to see results. The more we practice, the stronger our HSP gets.
That's the idea. The book also talks about working with energy, like Reiki, Qigong, things like that, practices that focus on our energy systems.
So if we balance those energies, we can sense more of the subtle stuff happening around us.
It's like imagine a radio with a bunch of static. You clear the static, the signal comes through clearer. Same idea.
Okay, it's all starting to click. But it also sounds like a lot of, work. Is developing HSP something that takes years, or can anyone do it?
Voyager says we all have the potential. It's not like trying to become, superhuman. It's about remembering what's already there, part of us.
Right.
And sure, consistent practice helps, but even just becoming a little more aware can make a difference.
So small steps, being patient, trusting the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Voyagers reminds us to connect with others who are on the same path, build that community, support each other, share what we're learning.
We're stronger together, right? When we have that shared intention, it amplifies everything.
Exactly. And that shared intention, it's so important right now as we're facing this choice point, the crossroads that humanity's at. Voyagers lays out these two possible futures, right? One where we just give in, let ourselves be controlled, and the other where we embrace our potential, create a world that's, well, amazing.
Fear versus love, separation versus unity. It sounds like the future isn't set in stone. We're creating it right now with every choice we make, every intention we set, every action we take.
It's powerful stuff, right?
Yeah.
We have the power to choose a different path, to be those guardians, to build something better.
So it's not about waiting for someone to rescue us. It's about taking responsibility for ourselves, our communities, the planet.
That's the message of Voyagers. And it's a wild, complex, sometimes challenging message, but ultimately it's hopeful. That gives us a map, a guide to awakening, to creating a world that's more aligned with, well, with love, compassion, unity.
It's a call to action, a reminder to remember who we are, to step into our power, and to co-create something truly beautiful. What an incredible journey this deep dive into Voyagers has been.
It really has. And as we wrap up, I'm just left with this feeling of awe, of possibility. The universe is vast, mysterious, and we're just starting to understand and glimpse what's really out there.
It's a call to keep exploring, to keep asking questions, to challenge what we think we know, and to face the unknown with, an open mind and a brave heart.
And remember, you don't have to do this alone. We have each other, we have guides, and we have that incredible wisdom of the soul matrix to guide us along the way.
So let's go out there, be the change we want to see, cultivate that HSP, reconnect with our soul matrix, and create a future that reflects the very best of who we are. Thanks for joining us for this amazing deep dive.